Hello everyone, welcome to Cabbage Patch Soap. My name is Laura, and I'm so glad you're here. Today we are going to be talking about master batching oils, which is basically just preparing your oils ahead of time so that when you make soap, you don't have quite as much work to do. So I'm just going to check my chats real quick, make sure that they are showing. Should just take 1 minute here. Just pulling up the chats. There we go. Okay, looks like chats are working. Okay, and I'm going to get some gloves on. And if you hear a fan in the background, that is the air conditioning running, so I apologize for any background noise. I'm just going to get these gloves. Okay. So the reason I decided to do this video, it's kind of like a behind the scenes, but also because I would like to make some more oils, some more soaps for you guys, and I need to prepare my oils for that. And rather than doing it separately ahead of time, I thought I'd go ahead and do it now so you guys can see what's involved. Now, there's more than one way to master batch your oils. A common way is to kind of measure out, pre-measure out all of your oils beforehand, and then melt them into like one big container. And then every time you need oils, you just calculate your recipe for it, and the oils are already mixed, so you just take out what you need and go from there. But I don't have a large container like that, and I don't really have a place to put a large container, and I use a lot of hard oils that need to be melted before they're used, and I don't have a way of keeping or heating up a large container. So I do it this way, and this way works just fine. So if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of space to store, I'm going to spray this one again. If you don't have a lot of space to store large containers or don't have a way of melting down hard oils in a large container or whatever, basically if you have the same issue I do, looks like this container might be cracked. Let me get a different one. But anyways, this is a good solution. It works. It's sometimes easier to store several small containers than it is to store one large one, because you can put them in different places, or like for me, I can fit these on my shelf, but I can't fit a large container on the shelf. So, all right. And what I'm doing right now, I'm just spraying these with rubbing alcohol. They're already cleaned and everything, but sometimes it's good to just double check. Hi, Ian. Welcome. I got air conditioning. No, I didn't. It's like one of those small units, but it's better than nothing. Hi, Felicia. Welcome. I saw your videos of the cross, and you guys should check out the Crafting Nook, Felicia's channel. She's been gone for a little while, but she's back, and she did a really cool, I didn't get to see the unmolding yet, but I saw the other videos where she poured the layers. She did this really neat looking cross design. It's really pretty. Hi, Lorna. Welcome. Hi, Jill. Welcome. So I'm not, technically today I'm not making something. I am doing master batching of the oils, preparing them ahead of time for the future things. However, I don't know if you remember, Felicia, but you asked me if you could put the melt and pour soap inside of the clear, or I'm sorry, the not melt and pour. You asked if we could put the cold process soap, like the little fairies, inside of melt and pour soap, and we did that the other day. And I'm just trying to find one here. Oh, there they are. I'm going to show you. Unfortunately, after we made these, I wasn't feeling too good, and I didn't get to wrap them in time. So they're taking on some condensation. So what I might do is put it in front of a fan or a dehydrator or something, not dehydrator, but like a dehumidifier, and get the moisture off of them so I can wrap them. But let me show you one real quick. Okay, so here's the blue one. We put the little blue fairy inside of clear melt and pour, and then I put a little bit of biodegradable glitter behind it so it stand out. So hopefully that shows up. So I'm going to set that aside. Okay. Let me see what's going on here. Hi, Livia. Welcome. Okay, so let me get I'm going to rinse my hands off real quick to get the glitter off. Just a second. Okay, I'm back. So this is how I do my master batching. Like I said, there's more than one way. The other popular way, in case you missed it, is to get a very large container, fill it with your oils, and then you just take off what you need whenever you want to make soap. I don't have a way of storing that. So what I do is I do smaller containers. And I'm just going to get my recipe out. I do have it memorized, but something that you learn from, I guess, just life in general, is even if you haven't memorized, if you're doing something important like this, it's good to always double check, because one of those sort of, measure twice and cut once things. If you make a mistake, this is not, there's like really no way of fixing this. Okay, so let me see what you're saying. Oh, thank you, Felicia. Yes, don't forget to hit the like button. Okay, so what I'm going to do, the way I do it is I start with my hard oils. I melt my coconut oil so it's liquid, but that's because it comes in a plastic, like a jug, kind of like this. It comes in like a jug, so if you don't melt it, you can't get it out. Otherwise, I have purchased it before where it came like a huge block, and if I get it that way, then I chip away at it and add it solid. But um, I've been getting it in these smaller jugs because it's just too hard for me to lift the big boxes. The only thing I still get in a large box is the palm oil, and that's because I get a special kind of palm oil that doesn't need to be mixed. Normally, palm oil, you have to melt it down completely before you measure it out. Otherwise, the fats won't be properly distributed. So what I'm going to do is I just zero out my scale, and I need just under 5 ounces of this, but I'm going to go ahead and just, sometimes I just do 5 ounces because it's not going to make any difference. Um, and I'm going to make 8 of these today. So I'm fixing my microphone. Okay. All right. A little bit more. Okay, that's just a tiny bit too much. That's 4.9, which is what I needed. So 4.9 or 5 ounces. And each time I put one of these up here, I zero out the scale, because even though all the jugs are the same, I find that they actually weigh different amounts. And sometimes that happens. You buy something, you buy identical ones, and even though they're all identical, they might weigh different amounts. So you got to watch out for that. And then what I do with these, after I'm done, that's a little bit much, after I'm done weighing all the oils, is I will actually cover this with plastic wrap, and then I set them on my shelf, the same shelf where I cure my soap. So They stay clean and safe, and this will get me a couple of weeks worth of recipes without having to measure it out every time, because you can see this becomes kind of a tedious process, and it saves me a lot of time, because normally put that in there 5 exactly. Okay. But anyways, normally I would have to do this for every single oil before I make the soap. So before I do my lives or I record my videos, I would have to do this. And like I said, the coconut oil has to be melted, and then melting takes a while. So doing it like this means that all I have to do is take one of these pitchers, and I already know that it has all the right amounts of all the oils. .9. The recipe calls for 4.9, but it's okay to go over a little bit, because I think we talked before about super fatting and adding extra oil and the benefits for that. So just see if you guys are saying anything. Yeah, where is Miss Stacy? That is a good question. She's usually here. Maybe she had something to do. Okay, 5. Or maybe she doesn't want to watch me measure out oils. I will say this is probably not the most exciting thing, but I thought it'd be fun to do like a behind the scenes kind of, and see what you guys think of it. Oh, 5.1, that's fine. Okay, that one's already at 0. So that one was the same size as the last one. And this palm oil that I use is responsibly sourced, so and it's organic. There we go, 4.9. I normally wouldn't use palm oil, but I found a good source for it, so. All right. Whoops, that's way too much. And you can do stuff, master batching oils for anything if you do. I'm sure you could do it for things like, candles or other things that you make. It's possible. There we go, 5. If you do anything with the blend, like I do. All right, so what I'm going to do is, since I ended up using my hands, it's got palm oil on it, I'm going to get a new glove. I'm going to put this away. We do not need that anymore. Okay. All right. Just getting my gloves again. Hold on. All right. So I'm just getting my gloves. Just be 1 second here. Let me see what you guys are saying. Okay, Felicia, that's great. Hi, Patty. Welcome. We're just pre-measuring out all the oils for the soaps that I'll be making. I want to do a wood grain next. I think that'll be fun. So normally, like I said, I like to start with the hard oils first. And coconut oil is a hard oil, but I melt mine down first. So what I do is I'm going to do the coconut oil next, because if it sits too long, it starts to cool down. And if it gets below room temperature, or below about 70 some degrees or so, it starts to solidify again. And this is another one where we need almost 5 ounces. So it's about 4.9. So let me just start pouring that in. There we go. Okay. There's that one. And then what I do is I have the ones that I haven't filled on the left and the ones I have filled on the right, and I just start working over. And the reason I do it that way is because in the beginning, it's pretty obvious which ones have what oils in them. But as you go along and add other oils, and some of them, like the castor oil, we don't add very much, and you won't be able to tell by looking whether or not you added it. So that's why I do it this way. Oops, I bumped the camera. Get that back on here. Okay. So I'm just going to move these over a little bit more so I have a very clear line. Okay. All right, so I'm going to fill the next one. I have to sort of concentrate so I don't go over by too much. All right. There we go. And this part goes a little bit faster since everything's liquid, which is another benefit to getting the coconut oil in these jugs. I was thinking afterwards I could show you guys the state of the liquid soap that we've been making. It's still sitting on the shelf in its jugs. Okay, that one's zeroed out perfectly. Okay. Okay, and that's it for the coconut oil. So that was pretty quick. And now we're going to do the olive oil. Okay. In the olive oil, we do a little bit more. It's just over, it's about 5.2 ounces, a little bit more. There we go. Olive oil's done. This jug is almost empty, so I have another one over here to use when this one runs out. Okay, that one's zeroed out perfectly. There we go. About halfway done with the olive oil ones. Uh-oh, that's running out. Okay, that's fine. I have another jug right here. These are heavy when they're full. Okay. Got two left. Seeing what you guys are saying. Ice cream. Yeah, caramel on top of ice cream. Yeah, that'd be nice. Wouldn't suggest eating this. I mean, it's all edible, but it probably won't taste very good. Okay. All right. Got 5 ounces of that. A little over. Now we need to do castor oil. So castor oil has very, very thick consistency. It's like honey or like golden syrup. It's very, very thick, and it's difficult to pour. So what I do is I put mine in, I have big jugs of it, but I put it in a small jug like this, so that way I can control it a little bit better when I pour it, because otherwise it just goes everywhere. Got a little bit of oil here. Let me clean this up. All this lovely oil into the wood probably does a lot of good for it. Okay. Yeah, Patty, exactly. Take a spoon and dig in. Okay, we only need about 0.8 of an ounce of castor oil. This does have a little cap that you can open, but I find that when I make this many, it's too slow. So I actually pour it out of this jug, but since it has a smaller opening, it still helps control it. So I get about 0.8. Hold on, the scale went to sleep. There we go. There we go. There's 0.8. All right. It's like really, really thick. And castor oil is great in soap. It gives it a lot of bubbles. Let's see here. There we go. But you can't put too much in the soap, otherwise the soap will be too soft and it won't harden properly, and you'll end up with a soft bar. There we go. But in small amounts, it's great. All right, about half done with that. And the coconut oil also gives very good bubbles, but the castor oil and the coconut oil bubbles are different. And so by putting both in my soap, I feel like I get a better, like a more complete bubble. So you get like the fluffy bubbles, but like also the great big bubbles. You get a little both. All right, last one. All right. Okay. So that's done. And then all I need to do now is cover these with plastic and put them on the shelf. So that is the next thing to do. I'm gonna wipe this off real quick. Let me shut it off. There it goes. And then I will spray it down with rubbing alcohol. Yeah, it's not good if you had to drink it off a spoon. That is for sure. I never understood. I don't know. I know there's reasons to take castor oil or whatever oils, but yeah, off a spoon is just nasty. Mix that with something to make it less nasty. Okay. So let me show you, before we go, let me show you the um, liquid oil, or liquid soaps rather, and their progress. It's probably going to look the same, but you know, until you see it. All right, so here's one of them. All right, getting the other ones down. They're way up on the top, so I have to really reach up there. I tell you what, I'm going to put this one down so I can get the other one down with two hands. Because if I don't, okay, there we go. All right. So here's our atomic orange colored soaps. I was just looking for something, but I didn't find it. Okay, so first let's go with this one. This is the one that we put the orange peel in and the walnut shells. We determined that the orange peel, it did go soft, which I figured might happen, but it was worth the experiment. But I also want to open it because I want to see if it started to mold. It doesn't appear to be. It looks just fine like the day we made it. I want to, yeah. So, sorry, I was just touching the surface. The surface feels a little bit drier than underneath, like just barely. But I think that's because it's exposed to the little bit of air between the soap and the lid. I'm going to see if there is still some grittiness from the walnut shells. So it seems like the walnut shells are probably okay to use, but the orange peel, of course, is not. It just goes, I mean, it doesn't hurt anything, but it's not helping either. It's just there for spots and speckles. Okay. These are the two that we made with pumice. And this is the one that was thinner, that we added a little bit more water to. And you can see how it settled down nicely in the bottom of the jar. And you can compare that to this one, which is craggy and it's kind of still holding its shape like a really stiff frosting. Let's see what you guys are saying here. How long has that been sitting? I have to go check the date. It's been a few weeks. Also, remember I got sick, and when that happens, I sort of lose track of time completely. All right, so this is the other one that we made. You can see some bubbles coming up there from just moving around. It has a really nice, strong orange scent to it. And since we put it in this jar, we can see if anything settled to the bottom. And I didn't see any settling at all. So this is probably fine if you want to go with this thickness for pumice. But yeah, I didn't see any kind of settling at all. And of course, in this one, there's even the soap itself is not settling. It's just staying really craggy, and which is fine. It's just like a thicker, more gel-like soap. So these turned out really, really nice. I'm going to put them back on their shelf. They sit up on a high shelf. They're not facing any windows or anything, so they're out of direct sunlight. And this little one sits on the shelf with my soaps. I'm going to go put those back real quick. So that's the progress on these so far. I've heard of people letting these soaps sit for a month. You know, their liquid soaps sit for a month. So I may do that. And maybe in the meantime, we can make another soap, another liquid soap that's like a normal or average or whatever liquid soap that doesn't have a grit in them or anything, and just see how that goes. And that way we can have a couple of them running at the same time, so that, I don't know, in a couple of months we can test them out. So that might be a fun project. I do want to make a wood grain soap here pretty soon. I was going to do it tonight, but I'm feeling better, but I don't have a lot of energy yet. And I had to run an errand today, and I feel like I ran a marathon instead of an errand. So that tells me that I might think I'm fine. My body does not think I'm fine. And that's one of the problems with me when I get sick, is that I get well, but I might look well and act well, but then what I'm feeling is not well. So, and then here is the oil, the olive oil with the lavender buds that I made the other day and shared the video with you guys. It's still sitting. We're going to give it a lot more time. We just keep shaking it. And that air pocket is from the space between the top of the jar and the lid. I didn't want to overfill it and risk this leaking, because that would be a terrible mess. But that's how this looks. So this is good. This is going to continue to sit on the shelf. Probably going to give it a good couple of months before we use it, at least. And I thought it would be fun to make some more jars with different things sitting in them, so we can make some different infused oils and just see how those look. So I'll have to find some other dried herbs. I have some petals. I have like rose petals. Maybe we could do rose. I have calendula, and I've got some others. Um, I have some blue petals that might be pretty. And then I've got different like botanical powders, like beetroot, and I have a green one. I forget what it is. We could try that. Alfalfa powder. That's what it was. It was alfalfa powder. Maybe we could try infusing some of those and see what that does. That might be fun. But if you guys have any suggestions for future videos, anything you'd like to see me make or anything else you'd like to see me do, definitely leave some comments. So, because I do really prefer to do the things that you suggest. It's a lot more fun. Um, Otherwise, I will be making the wood grain soap. And after that, I might be doing more infused oils so that in the future we can make soap with them. You have rose hips. I would dry them. Um, I don't know if you have to dry them. I would look that up, but um, I use dried herbs just because I don't want to risk anything rotting in the oil. Let's see. Yeah, thank you, Patty. I definitely am feeling. I am feeling better. I can tell that I'm doing better. It's just my energy level isn't there yet. So I'll do one small thing and it feels like I climbed a mountain. Um, but I think that's just my body kind of getting energy back after having to make me well, which probably took a lot of energy. Yeah, I would dry them, Jill. But like I said, there are some things I have seen people infuse some things without drying them, and I just don't know which things you can and which things you can't. Um, but I typically dry my things first, just because I don't want to risk it. But that could be a fun experiment. Maybe we could, find some things where there's no information for them and try putting them in the oil without drying them first and just see what happens. Because those jars aren't very big, so it wouldn't be a big waste of oil if it failed, and we'd learn something from it. So that'd be fun. Um, Thank you, Lorna. Yeah, I'm definitely improving. So day by day. But I will be back Monday and we will use some of this oil to make something something cool. Probably the wood grain soap unless you guys have another suggestion. And then we will start possibly infusing more oils and trying some new things and kind of branching out a little bit. Um, just sort of want your guys' suggestions on what to do because I think it's fun to make your guys' ideas. So but anyways, I'm gonna go rest. You guys have a great night and have a great weekend. And I will see you soon. Thank you so much for hanging out with me.